Hey guys, my name is Jamaica. I'm the owner of Poured Up Mobile Bartending Services. We're based in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, and we service the tri-state area, which includes New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and some of Delaware. I get so many questions from people asking how to even start a mobile bartending service business. And my number one advice is to just start. Start right now with what you have. When I first started my business, I didn't even own a mobile bar. I would literally rent it every time I needed one and would include it in my price. That's literally starting with what you have. And after a while, I was able to get enough income from that I was able to buy my own bar. Another question I get all the time is, where did I even come up with the idea to start a mobile bartending service? Well, to make a long story short, I had just moved back to New Jersey from Atlanta, Georgia, and I was 8 months pregnant. I knew I would never make that amount of money that I made in Atlanta back home in New Jersey, so I had to come up with something and fast. So I was in the process of planning my baby shower, and I was wondering if I wanted to have a bartender, and I'm like, I know I won't be able to be the bartender. And I'm like, somebody else is probably having the same thought or wanting a bartender for their event, and they don't know where to find one. So I came up with the idea of having a mobile bartending service, which whether you're having something at your house, back home barbecue, a housewarming, a pool party, or something as fancy as a wedding or a birthday party, or even a baby shower, and you need a bartending service, that's what Poured Up is for. I also get a lot of questions about my background in bartending. I've been working since I was 15. I'll be 30 in about a week. I've been working in hospitality. I started off as a cashier at Taco Bell. Then I went to waitressing at Fridays. So I've always had service, food, hospitality experience. I went from serving at Fridays to serving at Bahama Breeze. And around that same time, I went to bartending school. Now, do you have to go to bartending school? No, not at all. I even have a bartender that's self-taught on my team. You don't have to go to bartending school. However, in this industry, you have to start from somewhere. So, I recommend bartending school because you're at least gaining the knowledge, the hands-on experience that you will need in real life bartending if you go to the right place. But at the same time I was going to bartending school, I also told Bahama Breeze that I wanted to be a bartender. I was interested. That's another tip that I always recommend to people. Start off as a server and let your job know, like, hey, I'm interested in moving up. They will never know if you never say anything. And then they will give you the training that you need. Granted, their training is based on their restaurant or their menu and their drinks. However, that's still the experience that you can take to other places and, add on to that. So I was training to be a bartender at Bahama Breeze at the same time going to bartending school, which it took me 2 weeks or maybe less than that, because I remember I wanted to get it done so fast. I was going like twice a day, like the morning classes and the night classes, because I wanted to get it done. I wanted to be over with. And I did it, and I think I spent like $300 back then for bartending school. I think it was 2012. 2012 I went. And like now, schools be charging like $500, $600. Granted, I always say it's a great investment because you can make that back in your first 3 shifts, or it depends where you're working at. You can make that back in a week, but you will definitely make it back very, very quickly. So I went from bartending at Bahama Breeze, and I remember I would bartend at Bahama Breeze in the day, and I would go straight to the club at night. I always wanted to be a club bartender because for me, and this is another thing that I teach my students, know your strengths. I have terrible memory. When you're working in like a restaurant environment, you have regulars. They feel special when you remember their name. Their drink order. Where your conversation left off. About their kids and stuff like that. I can't remember all of that. I barely know at the end of the night the drink that you ordered when you keep coming back 4 or 5 times. I have no idea. Like, I just be in my zone. But if you have great memory, use that to your advantage. Your customers will love you for that. And when they love you, they tip well. For me, I knew I wanted to be a club bartender because there's people in and out, in and out, in and out. You get their order, you give them their drink, they tip you. That's quick money. So I don't have to remember faces, remember names, nothing like that. I just make them a drink. They give me their money, and it go like that. And it's fast paced. I could probably serve 100 people, probably more than that, 100 people a night, as opposed to a restaurant. You'll get your customers that sit there for like sometimes an hour at a time at the bar. No ma'am, not for me. But if you like building a rapport with people and building a rapport with your customers, perfect. I totally recommend it. And there's so many things that you could do with bartending, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to get into this industry, because it's long term. I've had students come to my class that have already worked 50 plus years at their job and have retired and are looking for a change of career, something to do, on the side now that they're retired and still make money and still get out and interact with people. Bartending is longevity, depending on where you're working at. Of course, when you work in nightclubs, you have to look the part. They don't want nobody 60 plus working in a nightclub. No. However, maybe like a country club, a cruise ship, a hotel, bar, or, stuff like that. There's so many different environments you can work at a golf club place. So many different environments you could work at. Another question that I always get is, how do you build your clientele? Now, this is advice for any bartender, whether it's a service you provide, any entrepreneur or anybody, whether it's a service you provide or whether it's a product you sell. Everything that you sell, put out, or doing, every event that I do, I look at it as my business card. So the whole event, I'm being looked at. People are looking at me, seeing how I handle things, how I interact with other people at the event, because somebody at that event is going to be my next client. So I make sure every time I'm putting my best effort forward, I'm putting my best foot forward, because I know the best referral is seeing my work. So I make sure every time that I go out and do an event that I'm at least getting a new client from that event. And people, when they like, the service that you offer, the service that you provide, when they're satisfied with the way that you conduct yourself, word of mouth is also my biggest marketing strategy. Because literally people see we having fun what we do, but still remaining professional. And that's, how I've been able. I've only been doing Pour It Up since 2017, and I've been able to keep a steady calendar because from every event I've gotten at least one booking from. And that's the mindset that my team goes into it. All right, y'all, this event we need it to double. You know what I mean? We need to get something back from this. When we are bartending, we're on stage. We know that we're being watched, and we're here to perform. That's what we do. Those are pep talks I have with my team. We are the Beyoncé of the bar. Okay. All right, social media for my business. Now, my situation is different than other people's situation, but everybody asks, how did you get your following so big? So, a little background. I always had my personal page. When I was bartending in Atlanta, they wanted us to always post like the flyers for the night. So I made a second page. So basically, I turned my second page into my business page. So I think I already had like 6,000 followers on that page. So once I started pumping it as Pour It Up, people they just started, following, and I follow and I interact and I engage with my followers. I'm not consistent with content. If y'all follow me on my personal page, I don't even post. I go months and months without posting on my personal page. I do think social media definitely played a major part in my business. Just people being able to see what we can do. That's why every event that I do, I make sure we take pictures, we take videos, so we can show like, all right, this was how we set up this is, how we did this. So our future clients can see you'll never catch me bartending on the table. And that's one of my pet peeves for a bartending service. We are bartenders. We pride ourselves on serving on a bar. So we always will serve on a bar. And that's just something that I feel like it makes you look more professional. And I've had clients ask and say, no, we don't want to rent your bar, and we don't have a bar. Can you bartend on the table? Sorry, you're not the client for me. That just doesn't look well with my brand. Yeah. Plain and simple. It is very important to be consistent with whether it's on social media, whether it's getting yourself out there, going to networking events. I used to go to what they call it, a vendor. I used to be vendors. Used to go be a vendor at different vending events just so I could get my name out there. I wasn't even selling anything, but I would purchase a table just so I could. I always say, like the president do, shake hands and kiss babies. You gotta do that. People want to know the person, and I feel like I show personality, and that's why a lot of people rock with me, because you can see, you know what you're buying into at the end of the day. Also, I used to go. I love Faith to death. Reflections and Turnersville. I used to go every Tuesday because they have open house. They have open house Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I would go down there every Tuesday, 45-minute drive, every Tuesday, and just shake hands and kiss babies, give out samples to her clients that she would have coming in for her open house, just in case, they will book me too, for the bartending service. Again, they got to see me, taste some of my drinks, see what I can do. I strongly recommend building relationships with different businesses. At the end of the day, like event venues, event planners, caterers, DJs, photographers, everybody that is in your circle that all share the same clientele, you need to have relationships with them, because if they get a call, say, hey, I'm having an event, but can you also refer me to a bartending service? I need to be top on their list. So it's very important with every time you interact with somebody that you know that you're on stage, you have to be presentable, you have to look the part, and you know that you're being watched. Even your personal social media, I always say, watch what you post on your personal social media, because you are being judged. Always stay away from stuff like religion and politics. You'll never see me talking about stuff like that. One, because I don't even know. I'm not even watching the news every day to even know what's going on in the world, I'm being honest. But you'll never see me talking about that, because I never want to offend nobody. And people could judge you based off of, the way you think and your views, your political views and your religious views and stuff like that. No, that's not what we're here for. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I believe I touched on everybody's questions that they had for me. I had fun doing this, so look forward to me doing this again. I got a lot of things lined up. The spring menu is coming soon. I know I said March, but I think I lied. It's going to be more so April. I got a lot the next few weeks going on, so I'm not going to be able to focus on that. But I feel good about what I got coming for y'all in 2020. Where do I even see myself in 5 years? I do one day want to have my own bar. I do. That's what this is for. Alright, again, my name is Jimmy Kajali. I am the owner of Poured Up Mobile Bartending Services. Follow us on Instagram at Poured Up Mobile. Follow us on Facebook, Poured Up, and on my YouTube page. I guess I got one now. I believe it's Poured Up Mobile as well. Peace.